Hello. Hello, hello. Let's get started. Back on the Silver Ridges Reserve. Gotta turn my volume up a little bit. Cool. Alright, alright. Let's go right here up to the lake right there. I've been looking into things and I think I want to live in Texas. They got a good Christian culture and they love lots of the stuff things I love. Open space, hunting, football. Not a lot of those things over here in Bogota, unfortunately. Growing up, it was kind of difficult to explain why I actually enjoyed being in Colombia sometimes. The number one thing was, coming from Florida, people aren't as fake here. There's, all sorts of habits in different social circles. I don't know. I don't know. I used to think people were more grounded here, more rooted in reality. But now it just feels like they're more negative. Now it just feels like they don't really accept good things. What I liked as a little kid coming here to Bogota was the cold. I like the cold mountain air. It's amazing still. It really is. But it doesn't feel special to me anymore. I've been to other places. There's all sorts of interesting airs, interesting feelings and environments. Wait. And I feel called by God to pursue more righteousness, a life more in alignment with Him. So I do want more serious, more devout Christian people around me, better company. I never liked living in Bogota. I kind of defended it a lot because it's my hometown, or it's where I was a teenager in. And it's where my dad lived most of his life, has lived most of his life. Look at that. I don't really like Colombia all that much, in all honesty. For me, it's huge just to have people who I can reach an understanding with here, but usually I'm better understood by people who've lived both in the US and Colombia. They kind of understand me best. Okay, we're within range here. Switch out. I'll look for a better shot. Moving back and forth growing up, I did identify more with God than with nationality back then, but I didn't put a name on God. I didn't call him God. I thought it was weird. I thought, I heard all sorts of bad things about Christianity and about how it's like oppressive. And that isn't true. That's just people who are scared to admit that they enjoy sin, right? Like, they feel oppressed. They feel repressed. It's like you can be authentic with God. Even though it's kind of hard to be that way with a lot of religious people, you know. Kind of want to go for it right here. That's his shoulder right there. It's not bad. There you go. Thank you, Lord. But yeah, I never identified with like Colombian or American. Colombian American maybe a little bit, both as like a minimum. But again, a Christian first. I am a Christian first. It just feels weird to me. It's not like I leave and I come back and every time I go, I don't know. Life feels easy here right now because my family's taking care of me so much. But life in Florida just kind of feels easy all the time because of the weather, the way people are. People are more relaxed. But also, people in Florida kind of are very careless. Like it's there is a mental health crisis in Florida. I'll say that, man. Some people don't care about their lives, about their life. I think they all need Jesus. We all need Jesus all the time, all of us. Good stuff. Okay. I pray for the people in Florida and all of Colombia and all the US and the whole world. So what can I say about that? About like nationality and enjoying one place over another? I don't know. It's hard to describe it. I've always enjoyed my time in Florida more. I want to get to know other parts of the US better. And it's always a bit of a journey to, you know what it is? Why I'm kind of against just going saying like I like the U.S. more, because that always attracts people who think like who are so proud to be an American, and that's horrible. First off, pride is just a sin, and secondly, that really skews their vision and does not make them easy to connect to. Yeah, I don't love that. Can you say you're happy to be an American? Can you say you enjoy living where you do? Just that last part is the whole separate topic, and it's its own thing worth thinking about for everyone. Do you enjoy living where you do? And it's hard to even know if you do, because you might think you're complaining about one thing or another without really knowing what life could be like somewhere else. And I'm grateful to God that I got to travel a lot so far. Got to experience different locations and cultures and ways of living. And I've said it before, but seeing people who just haven't done that is a bit tough for me. It's hard for me to talk to them, to connect to them, and they don't they seem judgmental. It's not fun to be around them. That being said, travel is a luxury and a privilege, and if you want it, pray to God for it. God delivers. God delivers. Ooh, there's a bear. He saw me. I don't even identify as all that diplomatic, really. I feel like I've been kind of forced to be a diplomat, just kind of to like connect different friend groups, different people from different countries. I don't like it. I like intense emotion. I like expressing my intense emotions. I'd rather just relax and let people hate each other sometimes. But then again, I don't. It brings me peace to see people together and bonding and connecting and enjoying. I do like that. Okay, there's a bear and there's an outpost way over there. We saw the outpost and I heard the bear. It might be close. good. Maybe I can line this up. That felt pretty good. Oh wow, okay. Thank you, Lord. Cool. Okay. I'm really happy with that one. And you know what? They don't seem all that different to me anymore. Just in terms of the people, anyways. I thought they support different visions in different places. I used to think it was kind of, people in the U.S. are more supportive of dreams and ambitions, but really it just depends on what it is. Here, people, as far as where I am in the nicer part of Bogota, people really support cultural visions, right? They want you to celebrate Colombian traditional culture and, build a restaurant, which I hate and it's so boring to me, but it's not bad, it's good to promote business and be good about that. And in the U.S., it's kind of like, again, it's a cultural vision. If you want to compete in a sport, if you want to start a charity or something, people are really supportive. But if you want to be like a billionaire or super rich, people kind of really look down on that in most places, as far as I've seen. Unless they also want to be that way. Here, I haven't heard many people kind of be a. That's not true. Some people are like communist here, which sucks. But they're far away from where I am. People tend to support a dream of wealth in most places I'm around here in Colombia. So yeah, been digging in my Bible, getting deeper into the culture. Those are some big deer. I'll get the outpost first. And it looks like Texas is the kind of the right place to go. I want to work at a university. I want to study theology or divinity, and I want to play football. I want to play a lot of football. I want to be the best. So I'll see how that goes. God willing. See how far God takes me in my journey. I want to set world records, man. I've heard a lot of good things about Texas. I heard, yeah. So we'll take a look there. All right, let's go north here. There's a trail. I don't know about the hunting in Texas. I have to research that a little bit actually. Could be good. I was looking at Colorado for a bit, but they seem a bit more the type to kind of hate billionaires there. Um, which I don't. It's not a big deal to me, but like, it is a big deal to me to be against ambition in any way. Ambition isn't a purely good thing. It's good to have faith and absolute big faith in God and Jesus and the goodness of God. I don't know. People have harsh reactions to that, and I don't want to be around that. After working a job in the U.S., I kind of really understood what they mean by crabs in a bucket, man. You tie your shoes the right way, someone's gonna get envious, bro. It's horrible. I thought that was unique to here, but that's kind of just because my dreams were smaller. My dreams were smaller. Now I see it's about the same wherever you go, as far as I can tell. I was saying last time that I feel like I should like country music more, and that was kind of a step into it too. I heard "Choosing Texas" by Ella Langley. I don't know, man. It can grow on me. Some big deer there. Here in the city, there's a lot of people kind of like that are more right wing. It's a very general political thing, but really that doesn't define a person at all. There's so many combinations of belief a human can have, of beliefs. So, there's like people who own farms and that sort of thing around here. But I still have trouble connecting to them, man. There's like, what it is? It's like physical culture. I like hiking. I like being outside. I like outdoor culture. And even those people here don't really have that. They kind of go visit their farms and don't do much there. They just drink. Drink and sing. Singing is good. There's music. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we can get this guy right here. I'll wait for him to turn a bit more. That's alright. Yeah, pray Jesus guides me in my move on this journey, in my dreams and ambitions. I pray that they're good. And I pray He lets me trust His timing and act on His timing every time. I never liked how restrained I felt here in Bogota. It's a big city, it's cramped, and it's conservative. I can't play around anywhere really here. I feel like my mom has changed a lot and she's doing the opposite with my niece. Not my sister. My sister doesn't have any kids yet. Uh, oh boy, let's see if we can get it. Nope. My mom's half sister has a kid, her daughter, and she's really young. My mom's doing all sorts of like physical stuff with her that we never did. She's like, throwing balls at her. She's having her do like gymnastics in the house, not like organized gymnastics. And it's really cool. I'm really happy that she's supporting her with that, and I'm happy to be there for her too, for my niece. But yeah, I didn't like it. I feel restrained here. I've been training sprints, getting ready to play football, and I have to do it on a flat road nearby. I even asked my old high school, which is pretty close by, if I could use their track. They said no, which is understandable, but also kind of another thing that makes me feel limited here. In Tallahassee, there was the FSU track I could use sometimes, depending on the hour of the day. But there was also a high school nearby that, depending on the hour and the day, you could use their track too. You know, and people came around. You'd see all sorts of people just getting to work. Improving their lives. It's really cool stuff. Thank you, Lord. it is harder here to have public resources, public fun. The nature isn't as protected, and it's all kind of circumstantial. You know, we're coming out of a history of inner conflict, of civil wars. So land isn't easy to have that isn't useful or used in some way. It's all fought over, defended, whether legally or like physically, or like militarily. And then there's farmland. You know, you gotta be productive with what you have. So, not sure. And then in the cities, there's parks, there's like outdoor gyms and that, but it's kind of shady sometimes. It's not all that. It isn't comfortable. I'll go real early, like 4 or 5 a.m. to some outdoor gyms, but I'd rather not. You know, it's not really worth it to me. I got mugged on my way to school one time when I was 15. And that was, walking through a park in a nice area, like the nicest area of the city, and still, it's just it's harder to enjoy what I like enjoying here for me. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. It's just it's hard to say that for me. It's hard to say that. My parents, of course, they get sad every time I complain about here and dream about over there, wherever over there may be. I don't know. And I get insulted if someone insults Bogota, like I didn't think I was like that, but I am proud of my hometown, unfortunately. Oh Lord, I repent. I want to love. I don't want to be proud. Yeah, I've gotten real nasty. I remember one time someone said that, it was at a party with other Colombians in Florida actually, and someone from the coast of Colombia said that Bogota, they don't know how to dance, they don't have anything to do there, they suck, they're boring. And I was like, we got money, y'all. And that's the worst thing, man. Like, that's the worst thing to say. It was so proud, so nasty, so horrible. But I felt good, man. I felt happy to be defending the city's name. It's the economic center of the country. So, yeah, I just told her we got it going on like that. And I was angry about it. I don't feel bad about that, man. If it's a sin, I repent. I want to please God. I want God's heart, and I want God in my heart. It just felt good. I also want somewhere more rural, just somewhere with more unbusy land. I want somewhere to hunt too. I want to take this game into real life. As soon as I say that, I start thinking about money, like I really want a good job. But I want to be clear. I want money. I don't just want endless work. Because if you say you enjoy your work, like people, in my experience, people try to take advantage of that. Really got to be careful with that. I enjoy working. Work is a gift from God, and I pray also for tons of money so I can enjoy other stuff that isn't work that I can spend money on. Billions of dollars. Okay, some big deer there. Yeah, hunting isn't a cheap hobby. Not initially, anyways, from what I can tell. I think you gotta buy animal tags, like like permissions to hunt as many animals as you can pay for, I guess, or that's allowed within the hunting season and the regulations of that state or whatever, and that animal. And then transportation and equipment. It's just cost. It's just not free, is all it is. And then there's like looking at it for a good job. I have work experience as a personal trainer, and I have a college degree in economics, and I'm having trouble, man. Like there's There's jobs out there that pay well, and most of them offer way more responsibility about things that I don't care about than I care to take on. You know, senior director of, I don't know, interdisciplinary relations at a university. I want a job at a university, but I also want to, study theology, and I want it to be cheap or free. There's so many like manager and head senior roles that you may get by with, not having that much experience if, you transmit trust and they see that you can make people trust you, or you see that people trust you easily. God can make all things happen, but it's like I don't want to be. I've seen so many people that in those kinds of roles that don't really care about it, and that just makes things worse. That's not good. And I don't really care all too much about that. I care about what I've been applying for roles like director of student life, or like anything like athletic oriented. That'd be cool too. Like a strength and conditioning intern, something like that would be cool if it pays. If it pays. But yeah, I want to have a fun job. I really want a fun job, and I want to get paid well for it. And paid well is not a number, right? Depends on how much it costs to live wherever you are, and how much they're giving you, depending on that too. I want to save up a lot. Pursuing a dream, like football, in my case, shouldn't be a drastic financial risk. It really shouldn't, and it never is. If you trust God first, you're not controlled by money. It's never really that much of a risk. That being said, I struggle with that too. I intend to continue my everyday practice of deepening my reliance on God and nothing else. It's fun, man. I'm happy to have dreams. Yeah, I'm happy to have dreams and so many blessings, man. So much support, so much, so much to do. You know. Yeah. There's so much fun to be had. It's tremendous. There's so much fun to be had. Really. So that's the miracle of faith too. It's understanding how good life can get. Understanding that we don't have to sacrifice this life for heaven in the next life. That's not biblical. That's Jesus paid for everything. At he took from his infinite supply of love and said, "Here, be free of all your debts." And debts isn't necessarily financial. He said he freed us from everything. So if you have enough faith, really, just more and more good opens up to you. And that's part of the Our Father prayer. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Don't wait for heaven. Pray for heaven now. I want heaven on earth right now for me and mine and all of us, Lord. It's a beautiful space, but I don't see any animals. might be worthwhile to take a different route. Yeah, I don't see any animals here. Might be a bit too hot for them around right now. Let's cross over here to the outlook right there. Take a bit of a journey there. Okay. I have a bit of water. One of the most faithful people, one of the most faithful persons I ever met was this one guy who told me he beat cancer 3 times. He said, like, yeah, like the doctors told him he was gonna die every time. That's ridiculous. Like, that's huge. Like, you gotta think about how many people are like that who were told by all the authorities in their life, like, yes, death is certain, and then it doesn't come, and then life comes. You know, and Jesus is there for all of us, man. And I love hearing those stories. I love hearing those stories. I think that was in college too that I met that guy. Yeah, open. You know what? I got my whole life. I was told you got to go to school to make money and be free. And I was like, okay. And then I got to college and I saw that wasn't true at all. People weren't studying and making tons of money. People were studying and graduating and not making a lot of money. And even then, the amount of money they made didn't really affect things all that much. Some people were like so happy with so little, and other people were just miserable working all the time, you know? So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I met one guy who he ran a like an arcade slash like like one of those like it's called Fun Station. There's like a batting cage. There's mini golf and like carts and all that sort of stuff, and an arcade. And he just told me, man, like you got to figure out the culture of where you are. You know, including any organization. That kind of determines things more than money or even the work. It's like how do the people around you make you feel about what you're doing and what you're thinking? It's so important. It's so important. I learned a lot from him, and there was other people like him that I learned a lot from just because I was so confused and seeing everything kind of unravel itself around me and so many lies revealed in terms of what I'd been told life was and reality was. I just started asking people like, how and why are you here and where are you going and what are you doing? Like, what is your life? You know? And of course, at first people are kind of like, oh, it's they're kind of defensive or not defensive, but like guarded. And eventually, people tell you things, and you learn so much. You'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised if they feel open, if they feel receptive. Ask them. Ask them, like, are you happy with your life? Like, what makes you happy about what you do? And if they look clearly unhappy, maybe avoid them. Maybe if you're curious enough, go ahead and ask, like, what don't you like about this? And that's revealed a lot to me. It's the people who communicate the most certainty and having it figured out and knowing rules to live by are liars. They've always scammed me. you know, it's when people communicate some level of uncertainty, to me that's authenticity, and I trust them more now. I think about the most certain people in my life with what they taught, with the way they lived. What they taught me didn't serve me much. It really hasn't helped me a lot. The people who were kind of like, it's kind of like this, kind of like that. I don't really know. God knows. That I trust them. I trust them. And when they say it's kind of like this, kind of like that, those little things are usually very useful. You know? Very, very useful. Ideology is pride. if it's stiff, right? If you can have an idea that, carries you for a while, but you shouldn't hold on to it. You should not hold on to it. It's like wind, right? Ideas kind of go through us and they carry us and push us, and that can be pretty good, and you can get to moving really fast, but don't follow the wind. Don't just try to keep moving fast. Stick to your direction. Stick to what God tells you. Now, with priests, there is kind of a middle ground for me there, because there can be certainty that is really toxic in that environment, but there's also, the practice of absolute faith and trust in God. That's a worthy endeavor. That's something to aspire for, I think. You know, if someone says they have it figured out and they live in absolute faith, I don't trust them. I don't see it. It's like, why are you not Jesus in the flesh exactly right now then? It's like, and that's also kind of a shitty thing for me to say. We're all Jesus inside and all that. We all got God in us. I don't know. Just I place authenticity over confidence. I really do. I'll say that. In most settings, it depends. It depends. Ooh, what's that? What is that? That's so cool. Oh, I don't even know what that is. What is that? Is that like a huge goat? What is that? It's like a huge goat. Okay, I'll be on the lookout for those. And that's kind of part of the deceitfulness of like knowledge in a way. If you're certain about something, there's usually kind of some pride in there. It's a quote from the beginning of the Big Short movie. It's not what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know and you're certain of that it just ain't so. There's lots of things like that. Let's see. Should be a house down there. I'll see it. Oh, maybe it's more over here. Okay, there it is. Let's go over there. It's what you think you know for sure that just ain't so. Caution and, uncertainty kind of protect us. Certainty gets us moving real fast in a direction. May not be the right direction. Oh boy, let's see how we get down. And there's the other part there, which is when you're acting on knowledge, you're not really practicing a spiritual life. You're not really practicing faith. When you're acting on uncertainty, you have to operate on faith. You have to operate on hope, right? And that's also a tremendous thing. It's a good thing. I'm grateful to have had people prove me wrong, because I was trying to act on knowledge and they were acting on hope. And they win, that's how it works. And I act on God's commands and I win. That's just how it works. God's way is the way up. This is so cool. I feel like I'm getting preachy and annoying now. Again, I learned a lot through sports, man. I was thinking that I look back to all those moments I felt so incredibly uncomfortable and insecure and unsure, and I was still doing my best, and those tended to be good moments. But even better than that was moments where I just kind of wasn't thinking all that much. I had a really good game when I was sick, and like I just couldn't really think. I was too tired to think. If you just keep going, man, that's another big thing I learned in boxing. I was kind of a perfectionist, and I would avoid everything I could do to just not get hit. And then it would always happen, and I would be okay. You know, that's a big part of it. Like taking the hit and then realizing you're okay, and you kind of have to just keep going. Like it's huge. You don't have to be all that much better. You don't have to be smarter, stronger, faster, wiser. You just gotta keep going, man. You just gotta keep going. That's consistency. That's perseverance. Okay. All right. I hope to get one of those huge goats next time for you guys. I'll close it off right now with an Our Father in Spanish. Padre nuestro, que est. Oh, hold up. I'm so sorry, yo. I don't want to interrupt this. Oh. Let's finish the prayer. Padre nuestro, que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino, hágase tu voluntad, así en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día, y perdona nuestras ofensas como también nosotros perdonamos a quienes nos ofenden. No nos dejes caer en tentación y líbranos del mal. Amén. En nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Amen. I'll just leave it for next time, really. Hope you guys enjoyed. God bless you all. Bye now.